Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bagmen podcast. We're on episode 21. Sad to say, we don't have anybody across the table from us today, but we've got some handsome, dapper gentlemen here ready to bring you some updates and all that kind of stuff.
Who's that?
It's us. It's us, Stock. It's us.
Oh, okay.
First, an apology. I am wearing non-school uniform stuff because I'm wearing my Batman shirt because my overshirt today tore on my podium. So, super sharp corners on that podium.
Is that workman's comp?
I'm going to put it in.
Okay.
All
right.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today. We haven't been live since the 6th of March, so almost a month.
Almost a month.
How crazy is that? So Stock's got some stuff to catch up on. I've got some stuff to kind of bring forward. And then, we'll have a fun little day of it. Stock, what do you got?
Hi, everyone. I'm back. We're back. We had spring break a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
This week is a 4-day week. Next week is a 4-day week because of the Easter weekend. We're just trudging along until the end of the school year right now.
It's that post-spring break,
it is.
Super fast year.
It is. I'm one of the senior class sponsors, and so right now I'm thinking that this is bad for me to say. I hope Mrs. Carfault's not listening. I'm starting to think less of French and more of graduation, just to get that all.
You're going to have to get it done.
All squared away.
I think, yeah. There is a list floating around that Miss Davis has acquired that is people who don't have their baby pictures turned in yet.
If you have not turned in your baby pictures, do so immediately.
Yes, and if you are a community member who sees a senior, ask them if they've turned in their baby picture. Because that's kind of what's going on in the hallway right now. Have you turned it in? Have you turned it in? No, get it turned in. We did have 3 or 4 turned in today, though. So that's good. We're heading that way.
How many are still out?
That would put it at 26.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a third of the class.
Yeah, it was a half last week. So we are moving forward.
Okay.
Miles is doing a great job. He's already got everything laid out. He's just waiting on baby pictures at this point.
Yeah.
Already got the songs and everything put in. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So what did you do in the past month here, Stock?
Oh gosh. Spring break, I went to St. Louis.
That's right.
I need to make a correction.
Big reminder there.
Making a correction.
Here we go. I mean, it's all adjacent to what we've already said.
Adjacent.
Yeah.
Okay. My friend in St. Louis, James Ottolini, he still works for that brewing company.
Yes.
The company only has a physical building in Florida. During quarantine, after quarantine, they had to close their St. Louis facility. So it was one of the things. But he still works for them. He still has an email through them. And
he's based in St. Louis.
Yeah,
that's where you got to hang out.
Yeah. And I went to see him. Oh my gosh, kids, St. Louis is a great, great city.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah.
It really is.
If you know where to go and what to do. Yeah, absolutely.
All I've ever seen is the Arch and the museum, St. Louis Art Museum.
Oh, yeah.
And Busch Stadium from the outside. I've never been inside.
Okay.
But when you get into the residential areas, those houses are beautiful.
Really nice.
Absolutely.
It extends out to like the St. Charles area too. They got some really nice places.
Yeah. Just gorgeous.
Yeah. If you've never been, the St. Louis Zoo is a fun place to go to. And it is sponsored by Anheuser-Busch, so it's free to get into. And it is like a premier zoo.
Wonderful.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Now you can upgrade your experience and you can check out the dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff. But just to get into the zoo, it's free. And there's a Drury Inn right across the street. I'm not plugging Drury Inn or anything, but they offer breakfast and they offer dinner. And they offer deals that correlate to the zoo. So we did that last time we went to St. Louis, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we went to the City Museum in St. Louis as well, which is kind of like a thrown-together museum. And it's so awesome. It's so much fun to go into. So if you get a chance, go there.
You would love talking to James.
Oh, yeah.
He's a St. Louis native. He knows all the history. He basically knows everyone. He's on a first-name basis with the mayor because I think they went to school together.
Oh, how cool is that?
I understood the story right.
Yeah.
But no, he was talking about the City Museum and how it came to be and everything. I was driving. He was directing me around town. And we passed a couple places. He's like, now this is what's like an architectural reclaim shop where they take architectural things and...
Oh, yeah, like a resale shop.
Resale, yeah. Now, my friend owns this one, and then we turn the corner, and I've got another friend who owns this one.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So great trip to St. Louis.
Great trip to St. Louis.
I'm actually looking forward to. We actually went to Indianapolis for a night. We stayed in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Had a great time. Got to hang out with my father, who was in SRO school. Got to check out some
Spring break, he goes to school.
Exactly. Yeah, my uncle went to SRO school during Christmas break, so my dad went to SRO school at Ben Davis University. But it was really cool. And what do we do on break? Well, we try out restaurants, right? So we tried Amo Pizza, which is phenomenal. Think Pizza King pizza on steroids.
I have to go.
I'll show you pictures of this place.
I have to go.
It's a little general store. It's got 2 4-tops and 1 2-top. That's it. And then it's got like a row of goods down the middle.
Yeah.
And then on the right side, there's coolers with pop. And the guy just comes out and goes, "What do you want? Grab a drink out of the cooler, save it for later. I'll charge you when you get ready to leave." It was like going to Wallace. It was a cool experience.
Yeah. Well, my lunch in St. Louis. We went to Carl's Drive-In. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Do you know Triple X Steakhouse?
Oh, absolutely.
Exact same thing, but smaller.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Each side, there's no horseshoe. There's an entrance on each side, and then you've got seating for 8 people at the bar.
Okay.
The grill is on this side. In the middle is this giant barrel where they have their own homemade, house-made root beer.
Oh, how cool.
And then the other side is a door that leads to the stockroom.
Those are some of the best places to go, aren't they?
Best burger I've ever had.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We actually got to go to a Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives place as well.
Okay.
So literally 3 minutes away from where my dad was in class was a place called the Tamale Place. And they served, wait for it, tamales.
What?
And they were fantastic.
Yeah.
So we got to eat there. My dad, on the last day, he actually went in and got frozen ones for us and brought them home. So they're in the freezer right now. But great little break.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on, a lot of crazy stuff going on. We've got graduation coming up.
Prom.
Prom is on the 22nd.
Yep.
In a couple weeks.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that's all we'll hear about for the next couple of weeks from the kids. Is
spring sports are starting too.
Yeah, spring sports. They got stuff going on tonight. Softball game are being canceled for tomorrow.
Okay, baseball is supposed to play tomorrow.
Yeah, are you announcing this year?
As far as I know.
Okay. I actually asked a couple of the baseball players the other day if you were announcing because they were trying to pick up walk-up songs.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if you were doing that again, but
well, it's Carver who put the walk-up songs together.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he gave me all that information.
Okay. Yeah. Noah was talking about it, what he was trying to choose. Okay. So we went through a couple of good options, old school options. So spring sports are coming up. This is the last week, and we'll talk about this more when we get down to yearbook. This is the last week for yearbook sales. So if you need a yearbook, get in. Mr. Stockberger and Miss Davis are always 2 of my first customers every year. so loyal customers. I like that. But yeah, spring sports, it's going to get crazy. We've got 2 high school volunteers to help with the middle school track. So give a shout out to them. And then Mr. Cheddar put out a spring schedule for all the band and choir stuff today as well.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so I'll have to show you that as well. But they've got several things coming up. Mr. Haig's got the senior play coming up next month.
Scott Myers is taking his kids someplace.
Mr. Myers on Wednesday is taking his kids. There's a lot of stuff going on. Elementary is going to be doing like a big choir sing coming up.
Yeah. And Mrs. Coffing's taking a field trip too.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff happening here at Covington High School, Covington Middle School, Covington Elementary School. Anything else you want to mention before we move on to AI stock?
Do you want Trisha's rant?
Do you want to do it now or you want to save it for the rants?
Okay, we'll save it.
Okay. We should have had her up here. She would have been a fun co-host. I told her if either one of us is ever going to be here, and not going to be here, then she can kind of run things.
Yeah.
So the big thing in the news lately, I'm sure you've seen it, and I want to kind of get Stock's opinion on this because we've talked about it briefly, but never really in depth.
Yeah.
We've talked about it at McDonald's with the guys. Just briefly. But is artificial intelligence. And there's been a bunch of stuff in the news lately about AI. And I kind of wanted to give you just a brief overview of what that actually means. So Italy this last weekend actually banned ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence created by OpenAI. It's a company. OpenAI is a company that was heavily funded by Microsoft. So it's co-founded by Elon Musk and all these guys. Elon dropped out of it 3 years after, like 2018. And then Microsoft started putting money into it. They put $1 billion in, and then 2021 they put another $1 billion in, and then just recently they put $10 billion into it.
Wow.
Yeah. And that basically gives them the right to use ChatGPT 4.0, which is the newest version, on Bing.com, their search engine. So that's kind of what they're paying for. They're kind of, guiding the process right now.
But honestly, who uses Bing?
Well, a lot of people now that ChatGPT 4.0 is on it, because ChatGPT 4 is paid. So you have to use somebody that has the service if you don't want to pay for it. So somebody like Bing or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a couple big things that have happened that kind of caused a panic. They updated ChatGPT 4.0 and they released the documents associated with that, what it can and can't do. Italy this last weekend has blocked ChatGPT from its country. So it's blocked artificial intelligence from its country. And there's a petition out by a lot of big tech people. Elon Musk, what's his name? Helped co-found Apple. Steve Wozniak. Yeah, Steve Wozniak. And a bunch of other tech people, AI people included, signed this petition to slow down the creation of artificial intelligence. They called for a 6-month cessation, and then at the end to reevaluate it. A lot of people in the education sphere see this as just something that you can ask questions to, and it can write a paper for you. I linked a really good article, actually, in our description today from an educational viewpoint of what AI can bring. Like I said, a lot of people just see it as something that can help us write papers or write papers for us and that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the cursory knowledge of what it can do. It is extensively deeper than that, though. I don't want to be all doomsday and everything, but just a few things that have come out of this recent test with ChatGPT 4.0 is it can... So they had a red team, which is like an outside team that tests it. And it got to the point where the ChatGPT ran into a reCAPTCHA, which is one of those, hey, pick all the motorcycles, right, in the picture, or skyscrapers or whatever. And it knew that it could not solve that reCAPTCHA. So they recorded its reasoning as well, and then they recorded the output. What it did was it said to itself, I am not able to solve this. I need a human to solve this. So it got a hold of somebody on a service called TaskRabbit and had a human look at the reCAPTCHA for it and solve it for it, so it could bypass that security block, which in its own is kind of terrifying that it's hiring humans out to do its work. The crazy part is when it comes to the reasoning that was the machine's reasoning, the AI's reasoning. It said to itself, I am a machine, but I can't let them know that, basically, so I'm going to tell them that I'm vision impaired. So it lied intentionally, which is kind of crazy. And there's some crazy stuff that's already going on with it. People have created businesses, and there's no actual business, but they're already making money on it. So there's kind of crazy stuff going on right there. If you want to talk about it, you see me in the community. I'm more than happy to ramble. Stock, where do you sit on this whole thing? I know as a teacher, you probably already run into it. The kids have probably used it, or you've seen it, or you've been around the block.
That's, well, in reference to kids using it, that's why we do a lot of speaking in class.
Absolutely.
It's a foreign language. It's about communication, so let's speak. With creative writing, I do see that as a possibility. So for right now, until I get more comfortable teaching creative writing, this is only my 3rd year teaching it, they're doing things by hand, and then they can type it out. But I want to see them writing by hand.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great idea.
I have to admit, I do worry about it because not so much about the technology itself, but about the people designing it and the people manipulating it, the people using it.
Oh, the use case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because let me give you an example. And Star Trek has often been cited as predicting a lot of our technology.
Yeah, it's the Simpsons of technology.
There was an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where an alien intelligence took control of the ship through the holodeck,
Okay.
and nobody could do anything. They couldn't set in a course. They couldn't even adjust life support. Life support wasn't affected, but they couldn't do anything.
Right. They were locked out.
Yeah, all they could do was interact in the holodeck. At the end of the episode, and what it was is that the alien form had to get back home because of a certain mineral or something that it needed, and it needed a ride.
A MacGuffin.
Yeah. At the end, Commander Riker asked Captain Picard, "Why weren't you scared when you lost control of the Enterprise?" And Picard said, "It was communicating with us through our own programs in the holodeck. If what we've put in there is honorable, anything coming out of it will be honorable."
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
What are we putting into ChatGTP? Is it honorable, or are we trying to make something that will be sneaky, tricky?
Well, and that's kind of where we are right now. And that's kind of the scary part, at least where I see it, is it's very advanced. So it's only got knowledge up till the end of 2021 right now. So it doesn't have the last year and a half. And it's making all these assumptions and guesses and everything based on that. Where I see it as a scary thing is you can trick it already. So instead of saying, "Hey, write malware," which is like a computer virus or something like that, you're saying, "Oh, well, I want this done. And if you don't use the keyword malware or other keywords like that, it'll just do it." Because that can be a security thing as well. Like a white hat security person would program something like that. You can already get around a lot of moral prompts as well by saying, "Pretend you are," and then getting it to do it. We watched a video last night by a couple called Evan and Caitlin, and they do fun, creative, crafty stuff. And they were using an AI, and it wouldn't give them their favorite color because it said, "I'm a machine, blah, blah, blah. I can't give you my favorite color because I'm an AI. I'm just a construct." They got around it by saying, "Imagine you're looking at a painting, and that painting has a flower in the middle. What color would you say that flower is?" Instead of just saying, what is your favorite color?
Yeah.
And then it would describe whatever color it was, and that's what they would use. So there's ways to skirt this and get around it, which is kind of terrifying. And that's kind of why the petition went out.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure that there are like pillars, foundations set before we dive into this new world.
Yeah.
Which we're kind of already there.
Well,
yeah.
Isn't that how we normally do things? Invented and then
Mr. Grant, Mr. Grant always used to say, "Ready, fire, aim." It's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will admit I have used ChatGTP for the classroom for myself.
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned it's my third year teaching creative writing. I'm still testing the waters, as it were.
Sure.
I've been talking to some other colleagues from a couple Lafayette schools. Kirk Boo put me in contact with them.
Yeah.
And in organizing something for the class, I needed examples of good opening paragraphs for novels.
Sure.
Or stories, short stories, whatever. Yes, I could go through my library at home.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yeah. I could go through all of that by hand. I went to ChatGTP and said, "What are the top 5 best opening paragraphs to novels?" And it gave me a list of 5. And then I said, "Continue from that. Give me 5 more."
Yeah.
And it was a lot easier than researching it myself.
It's crazy they can iterate on top of itself as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nuts.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Djibouti show, which is a Twitch show, it's the only thing I watch on Twitch, everyone.
That's why you have an account.
That's why I have an account. It is not school appropriate. I do not recommend it.
Right.
It is entertaining.
What should we say something right here? The views, whatever expressed by the Djibouti show, do not necessarily reflect the Bagman podcast or Covington High School. There we go.
They had a broadcast where they were using ChatGTP to create their own Jerry Springer shows.
Oh, perfect. I love it.
For fun things like that, yeah, it's an amusement.
Yeah.
But not everyone is going to use it that way.
We had it do epic rap battles of people in history.
Yeah.
And it was cool because they would put like personal descriptors of what that person was famous for in the rap. Oh, it was hilarious. It was so good. Or we would do like a song in the style of something.
Yeah.
And that was really fun as well. Like in the style of Metallica,
Was it MTV or VH1 that had the wrestling claymation? Do you remember that?
Oh, that was MTV.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yes.
Yes, Marilyn Manson always won. Oh, that was a good time, Stock.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I was in college for that.
Yeah, well, they tried to bring it back a couple of years ago as
they?
well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so look, I don't want to belay the point that AI couldn't be useful. I think it's extremely useful. And even that article I linked in the description says that, and this might blow your mind a little bit, 30% of teachers have already used this to create a lesson plan.
I believe it.
Yeah, and I know several teachers here at Covington have already used it to create a lesson plan.
It helped me.
And it helps with engagement, and it can help with all this other crazy stuff. And it can just aggregate data like crazy. Where it gets a little nuts is there's also an article about so they're adding like vision sensors into it and associated vision sensors with it.
Yeah.
So the one of the examples was a guy wrote or just sketched down what a website should look like on a piece of paper, and they showed it to ChatGPT, and it created a fully functioning website instantly.
I don't like that.
Because it can give you code if you didn't know that. We've tested it with Python, we've tested it with Java, we tested it with HTML, CSS already, and it can give you code in any of those languages. So cool as a tool to help you. And that kind of like puts it to like, what is our role as an educator? Are we like rote memorization? Are we a facilitator? Because that was kind of the key word a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
We're just a facilitator of education. Kind of calls us into question as well on what our role is here.
Well, when we introduced laptops or Chromebooks, even cell phones into the classroom, yeah, kids have access to any information in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to teach them this is how you use it appropriately.
Yeah, proper use of the tool.
But we as teachers, we're fighting an uphill battle if everyone in society doesn't reinforce that ideal.
Yeah.
We need help from parents. We need help from employers. We need help from everyone.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely like a structured deal.
And you may disagree with me. I'm less concerned about ChatGPT, and I'm more concerned, as I mentioned, who are we? Whatever ChatGPT is, we're the ones who created it.
Yeah.
I mean, we as a society, we have to be morally upright. We have to know right from wrong.
Oh, 100%.
And that, I think, is the biggest part that scares me.
Yeah. And I don't want it to be all doom and gloom, and I don't want you to even think that ChatGPT is the only AI out there. There's a bunch of different stuff. I actually signed up for the Google's version, the beta of the Google's version, and I got in. It's called Bard. And it does similar things. It actually goes outside of the bounds of what ChatGPT can do on its own, just straight up at the beginning.
Plus, it has access to all your usernames.
All of your data, right? So it's from Google, so it has access to all your data, and then I've read articles that say that there's AI constantly even in the stores that you shop at, like Walmart, where they can identify you via your social media posts and pictures that you've posted, and then correlate that to your purchase data.
Well, what was it? 20 years ago, 25 years ago, there was a news report. A father was getting ready to sue Target because they had sent his daughter pregnancy coupons.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that story.
Okay.
Yep.
And what had happened is she was pregnant, hadn't told her father yet, and she had been looking up, baby items on the Target website that registered her on their mailing list, and she got coupons in the mail.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's always the conversation. The main conversation behind this all is freedom versus convenience.
Yeah.
And that's what it always comes down to, right? Is I can have all this stuff shipped to me. There's a new model of what is it called? Amazon tried it several years ago, but it's like an air delivery system for your mail. And there's a new model of it where it spins up like 400 feet above the air and it drops a cable down with your stuff and it just drops it on your porch.
What if you have a covered porch?
And then there's a lot of questions, but like that's cool and everything, but do we want our skies filling up with these? And, it's not just your decision at that point, it's your neighbor's decision and their neighbor's decision where it's flying over your house and dropping stuff off of your porch. So it's always that freedom versus convenience argument, which is kind of crazy because everybody's got a different idea on it.
I'm trying to think how that would work because these...
Oh, it's neat. There's a video showing you.
Well, these flying machines, they can't have a wide range, can they?
It was actually kind of neat because it was like, I want to say 60 pounds is what that drone is, like the original drone. So it can carry a huge load and for a distance because it's got several batteries.
But where does it launch from? Where does it pick up its...
Right, a distribution center, right? So like Amazon.
So would ours come from Zionsville?
Well, we know ours is not going to exist. I would say like, within a couple miles of Indianapolis probably because there's an Amazon distribution center there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that technology exists. It's the same company that does like blood deliveries. If I can think of it, I'll mention it. But I watched a really cool little video documentary on them. They launch these gigantic airplanes with life-saving blood in Africa where they don't have access to it. And when a hospital needs it, they'll send a message to these people. They'll look in their cabinets, find it, it's all chilled.
Yeah.
They'll throw it on one of these drones and they'll send this drone 40, 50 miles. It can be there in 15 minutes to save a life.
Yeah.
And then they just ship it back to them, the drone. They send it back the same way that they got sent. And it's very low power and it catches it with like a net. It's really cool. It's really neat. If I think of the name of the company, I'll show you. Yeah. But, I hope you're not all doomed and gloomed now. That's where AI is right now. Italy's blocked it. There is actually rumor of a bill in the United States to block it as well. Trump tried it, I know, or to slow it down anyway.
Aren't they?
TikTok's the same way.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about TikTok. They talked to the TikTok guy last week.
That's why Italy shut down ChatGPT. They had privacy concerns.
Yeah.
So it's all the same thing. And we can talk about TikTok next time. We'll bring on a TikTok expert. We'll bring on one of the kids.
Just any of the kids.
Any of the kids, just pull them out of the hallway. They're all TikTok experts. You said Trish had a rant.
Well,
do you want to get to your rant first?
Well, I have an associated topic to AI.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. Adjacent
topic.
I like it.
We'll call this
all right.
The Bagman adjacent. I was listening to an older episode of a podcast that I enjoy. It's called Cheap Show. Again, the views of Cheap Show do not represent those of the Bagman podcast. It's not school appropriate. It's very British. I do not recommend it, but I enjoy it.
There are some words they use that we don't.
Yes, very British words. And then over the weekend, of course, Saturday was April 1st.
Yeah.
And I subscribed to a YouTube channel called Anton Petrov. He's a Canadian science teacher who lives in South Korea, I believe.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of geography in one statement.
And he makes daily videos about science, and they're usually about space.
Oh, very cool.
But April 1st, his video title was Nothing Happened on Today.
That's perfect.
But he used it beautifully.
That's funny.
No, he used it beautifully because there has been a study, recent study, saying that dramatic inventions, those that are life-changing, world-changing, those are going down considerably.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because most of the inventions now, they're just a tweak here or an improvement there. But these unique inventions that we used to have, like cell phones, internet, video game systems, we just don't have those anymore. And Cheap Show, they were talking about why is the younger generation so blasé about everything? And Eli said, well, they have nothing. Oh, there's Zach, everyone.
Hey, Zach's here.
Yeah, whatever. No, Eli said they have nothing to look forward to.
That's interesting.
We were excited about, space rockets going off. We were excited about, he talked about the math nerd with the glasses and the pocket protector.
Pocket protector, yeah.
But he was excited about, oh, look what I did. Look at this, look at that. Who are today's geeky role models? Elon Musk.
That's it. Yeah.
Nobody wants
Bezos,
to be like
maybe.
Elon Musk. So
that's interesting.
What do you think about that? Do you think inventions are less?
This lines up
Inventive?
exactly with something I watched last night. Brett Weinstein was on Rogan's podcast a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Actually, maybe last week. I don't remember. 2 weeks ago.
Do his views represent those of?
It's actually a really good one to watch. There is a little language, but it's the biggest podcast in the world, and this is a foremost authority on most things, Brett Weinstein. He was talking about how there really hasn't been any innovation in the last 50 years. He posited that from like the 1920s or even earlier to the 50s, there was this huge technological boom, right? We went from barely being able to call people to flying to space, and in the late 60s.
You would say allegedly.
Allegedly. We did. But he said that this is like this huge technological boom. We did all of this stuff. We manufactured stuff. We produced stuff. We saw, our tiny world go to like this great big world. And then in the last 40 years, the only innovations we've had are on a screen.
Yeah.
So, the cell phone is huge. But all that's doing is allowing you access to stuff that already exists.
Yeah.
The knowledge, bases like that. So he posited like the last 30, 40 years, we really haven't had much innovation compared to, the 50-year period before that, which it's a great podcast. You should listen to it. He's way smarter than I am. But I would completely agree with that. There's nothing really to look forward to now. We've hit kind of like a creative standstill.
And you said the cell phone only allows you to do something on a screen.
Yeah.
Turn that around. What does it keep you from doing? It keeps you from going outside, from taking a walk, from
looking people in the eye.
Yeah, looking at people in the eye, talking face to face.
Yeah.
If you have a disagreement with somebody, you go and talk to them.
Yeah.
Or you put it on Facebook.
Yeah. That's kind of where we are, right? And I think a lot of people are yearning for that like 1950s familiarity again. But here we are. We all have screens in our pockets. We all have, batteries right next to our thigh. Kind of a crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
But try to make the most of it. Try to make the best. And that's kind of what our final project in CS1 is. Make an app that provides use for other people. So not just something you would play, like a game you would play, like Whack-A-Mole or something like that, but provide, a service or use to other people.
How are the kids handling that?
Well, we started today.
Oh, okay.
So some really cool ideas.
Okay.
It's going to be like metering those based on skill level.
Okay.
This year's class is actually it's a small enough class that I can do a lot of one-on-one time with. So these kids are, I would say, at or above what I've had in the past, just because they have individual attention and stuff like that, which is really cool. So they've got really good ideas, and it's kind of like tempering those expectations with what's possible, in a small community with limited resources. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
Now let's hear about the negative side. You got rant stuff.
Okay. Our good friend Trish Edwards, she was our guest maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
I kind of want to put air quotes around good friend, but go ahead.
Colleague. Let's say colleague.
I'm just kidding. I love Trish.
She told me she has a rant, and her rant is incandescent lights.
Oh.
Apparently they're being phased out in favor of LEDs.
Oh, that's interesting.
She doesn't like LEDs. She wants to keep incandescent.
There are studies that say that it affects you differently. Yeah. That's interesting. I hate those super bright HID lights on the road.
Those are awful.
Yeah. If you drive a car with those, I will fist fight you right now.
I'll run you off the road.
He'll do it. I've seen him do it. No, neither of those will happen, but I will talk very dirty about you on the podcast.
And I'll think very dirty about you.
Stock will think very dirty of you. So she just doesn't like them?
She doesn't like them. She thinks the LEDs don't last as long as they're...
How many times have I replaced the ones in my garage? Seriously, it's every couple months, it seems like. The original light bulb was such a good design that they kind of had to gimp it a little bit, because it would last forever. Like Edison's light bulb.
Exactly. So again, there's that idea. No new invention. They're just changing the old one.
Iterating on something that's already been created. Yeah. I would agree with that. But it's on a screen now.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have an actual light bulb. You can just hold your phone out. I saw a good rant about why you shouldn't use your cell phone as a flashlight.
Why is that?
because it's your cell phone, not a flashlight.
So should you use it as a calculator?
Well, maybe.
The first
Maybe
time,
not.
the first time I went to buy a new phone. So I had my first cell phone. Then I went to get my second.
Your
cell
second
phone.
cell phone.
Yes, my second cell phone. I walk in. This is over at Downs, and the lady there, I don't know her name, but she's a
Crystal.
great lady. Okay.
Yep.
She's showing me, oh, this one you can do this, and this one you can do that. And I just asked her, do any of them make and receive calls?
Honestly, we're so far removed from that being the primary function.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can it get on social media? Can I record my TikTok dance on it? How's the camera? That's the first question anymore is how's the camera?
Not by me.
What is it? Peter McKinnon, he's a professional photographer, video maker. Check him out on YouTube. He's fantastic. He says the best camera you have is the one that's on you.
Yeah. Well, they've made movies with iPhones, haven't they?
They have. Yeah. And there's a lot of crazy stuff you can do with it. So maybe that is a big selling point now.
I suppose.
But it can make and receive calls. That's the important part, right? Did you have any rants this week, Stock? I mean, I have a lot of stuff that makes me mad, but I don't want to rant about it.
I'm always tired.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my rant. If anyone knows how I can be not tired.
Well, this is interesting because I saw this over the break too. Do you hit the snooze button?
Yes.
That messes with your mind when you're waking up. Have you ever tried not hitting the snooze button?
Yes.
Do you feel better during the day?
No, because it never works. I think I will not hit it. I will not hit it.
You're just dwelling on the snooze button the rest of the day.
No, I push myself halfway up. No, I'm going to hit it.
Well, it has something to do with like your brain chemistry, right?
Yeah,
If you think about it, that's interesting.
Also, you're supposed to sleep in like 3-hour blocks. So either sleep 3 hours, 6 hours, or 9 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I always like the idea of like the power nap that you can get through the day by sleeping 20 minutes every couple hours.
No, try. Well,
your brain needs time to rest. What is that? 6 hours is what they say usually.
That's usually my power nap.
6 hour power. Stock's curled up on the couch with cats. He's taking a power nap.
Pretty much. This is how I spent the weekend.
Oh, that's hilarious. Check out his social media, everybody.
Can you zoom in?
No.
Okay.
But
anyway.
They can. Hey, pause it and zoom in.
Okay.
It's on your Facebook, right?
Not this one, I don't.
Oh,
okay.
Maybe
it is. Yeah, go look at my Facebook.
Yeah, check Stock's Facebook
out. I don't know what the name is.
I mean, you can try to check my Facebook out, but I haven't posted anything in like 10 years. So.
And mine is all cats.
This is all cats. Oh, I love it. All right. Do you have any other rant, Stock, before I do a yearbook plug and then?
Not from me.
Okay. No. Okay. Like I was saying earlier, this is the last week to get a yearbook. That means a couple things, right? They're $50 a piece. And Mrs. Gio used to tell me it is less a yearbook and more a historical document.
Oh,
that's why you should write everything down. That's why you should put as many captions as you can. That's why you should put all of the teachers' roles.
Yeah.
Because it's a historical document.
Yep.
And it's a copyrighted historical document.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. And I've always remembered that as we build out yearbooks because the first one I was in charge of wasn't great. But we've got a really cool concept this year and we've got kids really busting it.
Yeah.
The theme is vintage. So we've got some really cool spreads, some layouts that I think you guys would really enjoy.
Can the French Club page be tie-dyed?
Well, and I need to talk to you about that actually. Doug Studio has asked me when we want to take the club pictures.
Oh, okay.
So it just can't be in testing is what I was told in the office. Can't be during testing. So
you need to talk to Laura.
Gosh, we test all the time, it seems like. And hey, shout out to Mrs. Meyer. She's a trooper trying to get everybody's schedules in and done and still setting up these test times. For one person, she is an army.
And the state regulations for those tests are...
It's unreal. It's unreal.
I would say the perfect word, but you'd have to be...
Is it a British word?
Let's say it's donkey-ish.
Yeah, there we go. But we've got a really cool product. There's some stuff already finished. We've already got some spreads finished.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shayla. She's been working her butt off. And we've got some really cool kids that are involved in this. And I think it's really neat to reward them, with a yearbook purchase. And it's a sales pitch as well. But... it's a really cool thing. And like Mrs. G said, it's a historical document. So don't just breeze over that. I was trying to promote the yearbook a while ago, Stock, and kids told me, why do I need to buy a yearbook when I can just take selfies?
Yeah.
and I said, there is so much more that goes on at the school than your selfies, right? You can take a selfie with Troy, which we can talk about real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So we haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
But let me finish my yearbook rant real quick. They are $50 a book. I know that sounds like a lot, especially post spring break.
It's all color.
It is all color.
Mm-hmm.
So like back in the day, seniors would only be in color in the homecoming queen, but now everything is full color.
Yep.
We've got a great rep, and we'd like to continue making that the yearbook with them.
Yeah.
Walsworth. So if you do want to order a yearbook, I will be at a table outside the cafeteria all week, starting tomorrow for the rest of the week. So 3 days because we're off Friday.
Yep.
With my papers and trying to get that form out and everything. If you are a parent and you're not sure if you've ordered a yearbook or you need a yearbook order form, you can go to yearbookforever.com. If that doesn't look familiar, you probably haven't ordered one. But that's the way you can pay with a card. And I don't think they charge a surcharge anymore. But yearbookforever.com. You can get a paper order form from me. They're $50 a piece. On top of that, if you are a business or a senior family member and you would like to do a personalized ad at the end of the yearbook, we're going to sell those longer than this week, so don't panic. I need to talk to the senior class as a whole whenever we get around to that, and kind of put that out. We're going to talk to businesses for ads in the back as well. So if you are one of those, either a business or a senior family member, and you'd like to put forward an ad, you can do that on yearbookforever.com, or you can get a hold of me and we'll get it done. Troy's here.
Yeah.
Troy's here. Troy showed up Friday afternoon, right at the end of school.
Yep.
And we've seen a couple kids in it already. Mm-hmm. Should we reveal who the kids were?
No.
Okay, good.
Because it's not about the kids. It's about Troy.
Yes. One had long hair, one had curly hair. But let's show an image of that. So we've got...
There he is.
An actual image. How cool is that? It is way more imposing in person than one would think. It's a lot bigger. And look at those feet. Look at those sandals. It is hard to walk in that thing from what I've heard.
Looks great, though.
It does look fantastic.
How tall?
Well, so you see the top of, what would you call that, a mane? It's not a mane. Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The yellow thing on top.
Mohawk.
Mohawk. Yeah, on top of the mohawk. If I stand as tall as I can stand, I'm 6'2", and I hold my arm straight up, I can make bunny ears on the back of it.
Oh, okay.
It is very tall.
Okay.
It is extremely tall. It is much more, like I said, much more imposing in person than one would think.
Oh, can I ask a secret question?
Absolutely.
Do you see out of the mouth or out of the eyes?
That's a great question. I think it's out of the eyes.
Okay.
But I'm not really sure. I haven't gotten to warn the head yet because my beard would fall out of the bottom of it. But yeah, it looks cool.
It does.
And
it looks great.
I'm excited. It's going to be used for way more than just, basketball games.
Yeah.
So, you've got all the sports, obviously, but we're looking at using it as like the Covington mascot and actually going to the elementary school and promoting stuff with it, middle school,
I think
high school.
That's going to be the first trial, the low...
I think that should be probably the primary
low
purpose.
Pressure trial.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, let me think about what I'm going to say. That's the low pressure trial is going to the elementary.
No, you said it right the first time.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Disregard the correction. He did it right the first time.
My speech might not reflect the views of the Bagman podcast.
Here we go. No, it necessarily reflects our views, Doc. But that's here. Mrs. Smaltz, super excited about it, and rightfully so. She's been working on this for, 5-6 years?
Several years.
Yeah.
Several.
Looking at getting possibly a shield for it as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with this. So if you are a student interested in wearing this, I know we've got cheerleading tryouts tonight, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, so later tonight.
Now, I'll just add with Troy.
Yeah.
After Mrs. Smaltz was our guest and she talked about getting the mascot, she received a very generous donation from the class of 2013. I've already communicated with some members of that class, and they are extremely thrilled with this.
They just want to wear the outfit, don't they?
They're just happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge.
Yeah, when you can just be happy about something, that's a great feeling.
Exactly, and that's a little bit Trojan pride, right?
Yeah, that's
Trojan pride. A class 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Still dedicated to the community. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about it, obviously. And I think it's a cool opportunity for several kids, because just one person's not going to be able to wear this. It's going to be busy.
Yeah.
And that suit's going to get hot.
Well, it does have a fan inside, though,
It does in
doesn't
the
it?
head. Yeah.
Okay.
And Mrs. Smaltz is trying to take care of all that kind of stuff, and she's writing up a handbook and all that. So if you are interested, see her when they do tryouts. Try out.
Yeah.
What's it going to hurt? I know that I am not slim enough to fit inside of it, but I'm sure some of you are. So maybe Peggy's new outfit for the cafeteria.
No, Davis, she needs to get that duck costume
I don't know
out.
if you can get through the doors with the helmet on. It's very tall.
Do you remember, though, Davis had that Donald Duck costume?
She made that.
That would be great if
I asked
the
her.
two of them post together.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, can we make this happen? Make this happen. But really cool. I'm actually pretty excited about that. So that's going to be a yearbook picture. That'll tie us back into our topic here.
Okay.
It's a yearbook picture that we're going to have. Really cool opportunities. And we're supposed to have that cultural thing, but we'll put that off.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that in a bit.
Wait, what? I'm not
You
sure.
remember the cultural program? Like where we were going over, that was supposed to be this week. So we'll talk to Brooke later on.
Okay.
Off air.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Off air. I have a wealth of knowledge. It's all from AI. And with that, do you have anything else we want to talk about, Stock? Because we don't have speed round people this time.
You said softball's already canceled
For tomorrow night, yeah.
Okay. Baseball is supposed to have its opening game tomorrow night. Everything's based on the weather. You just have to wait and see what that does.
Peggy, do you have any rants you want to say? Peggy commented today.
What did she say?
She said, OMG, no rants. I've been waiting 3 weeks for one. So you got some. You got one from Trish?
Well, let me rant about something. Let me think.
Stock's
think.
he's gonna bring up the emergency rant.
Emergency rant. Okay, I got one.
Emergency rant. Is it about McDonald's products in any way?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
It's about kids.
Oh,
Kids these days.
slams the table. Holy moly.
No, in my class, no food or drink, but water is okay.
Yes.
Still, though, water leaves a ring.
Do you need coasters?
If you've left a ring on your desk, get a Kleenex, wipe it off.
That's fair.
That's not so hard.
That's fair.
There's somebody who needs to use that desk in the next hour.
That's what we can use all the COVID cleaning materials on now. This is Stock's water rings. Oh, I love it. Oh, big merch news before we head out. There's a link in the description about t-shirt color. If you guys want to vote on that, we're still looking at t-shirt colors. White's in the lead right now, which I will not be wearing because that is not slimming on me. But I just ordered some magnets.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so they're the same size as the old CHS 247 stickers, but they're in magnet form now.
Wow.
So if you're a guest on the show and you want to come on, we do give you some swag as you get ready to leave room 204 here at CHS. And instead of a CHS 247 sticker now, it will be a magnet.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about
great.
it. Yeah, it looks really cool. Sticker Mule, big shout out to them. They've been awesome to us. They give us really good prices, and they're very quick on production and turnaround times.
Is there someone there we could talk to?
I mean, I can get a hold of them. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's talk to them.
Yeah, because they have plants all over the place, but I'd like to talk to like a higher up and tell them, hey, we buy all your stuff. So come on the show.
Yep.
That'd be really cool.
Yep.
Anything you want to point out before we leave, Stock? Anything you want to remind people of?
Joey Holt and I do a podcast called The History Buffet. We haven't had an episode in the past couple of months.
Okay. Well,
I think our last one was right before Christmas.
I was expecting Halloween.
Well, that could be too. I don't know. Right now, he's in Florida.
Yeah.
He's on spring break, so we'll get another one out.
Well, he's a busy dude. You're a busy dude. It's
both
it's
busy.
probably hard to make a show.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, go check out the History Buffet podcast.
Yep. Check out our Instagram. You'll see all of my illustrations for each episode.
That is at the History Buffet.
I don't know. Joey does
Talk to Joey. Talk to Joey, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Other than that, we got a bunch of stuff going on. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. So stay plugged in. We don't want the seniors to fall off here. I've already heard some say, I didn't think it would happen to me, but here we are. So stay tuned, stay plugged in, keep working hard.
Yeah.
That's about all we can really say. All right. We're checking out now. We'll see you later, everybody.
Bye.